Hello everyone, my name is Manideep Tummalapudi. I'm doing my PhD in construction management at Colorado State University. Here in this slide, you can also see Dr. Harper and Dr. Killingsworth. We as a team perform this research. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about the US perspective of construction surety bonding and how our research would help emerging contractors to be successful in construction industry. Introduction and research purpose. After rebounding from the Great Recession, the construction sector has witnessed record growth and is expected to be one of the fastest growing industries for the next few years, barring what's been happening since this pandemic has started. Before this pandemic, everything was so colorful in construction industry. Because of this huge growth in construction, many small and mid-sized contractors have entered the construction industry in the last few years. These small and mid-sized contractors, who I call them emerging contractors, have enough skills, tools, talent, and manpower to be very successful and finish the projects. Yet, these emerging contractors always struggle to win projects. When we delved a little deep into this, we realized that one of the primary reasons that these emerging contractors were not able to win the projects is because they do not have enough bonding capacities. They were struggling to attain enough bonding capacities. We all know today every public project needs the contractor to have enough bonding capacities before the project is awarded. And these days, a lot of the private sector owners are also wanting the contractors to have bonding capacities before the project is started because of huge investments involved in the projects. So we realize that uh, the emerging contractors are struggling to attain bonding capacities. And the reason for that is these emerging contractors do not have awareness and enough understanding about what is that the surety bonding companies assess before issuing a bonding capacity. So the purpose of this research is to understand the general criterion to issue a bond by the surety bonding companies so that it educates the emerging contractors, which indirectly or directly enhances the ability to secure enough bonding capacities for their projects. In this way, they will be more successful. Research methodology. For this research, we've adopted a qualitative approach with a short questionnaire and open-ended interviews. First, we have conducted extensive literature review. From this literature review, we have developed a short survey and open-ended questions. The open-ended questions focused primarily on criterion for bonding, current bonding conditions, and how the surety bonding criterion could change in the future. Then we identified participants. We've reached out to around 40 participants and conducted 9 interviews. We've selected people with at least 20 years of experience and made sure they are from all across the US so that it represents the US entirely. And then from the phone interviews that we have conducted, we have analyzed the data using manual thematic analysis, and then we've identified patterns and themes to come up with results. Results. From the manual thematic analysis, we've identified around 50 unique bonding criterion and we've categorized them into 3 different categories: capacity, capital, and character. Capacity refers to the ability of the contractor to perform the project smoothly. Capital refers to financial strength of the contractor. Character refers to the honesty principles of the contractor. It is very important to understand that all 3 categories are equally important. I still remember one of the participants said, let's say the contractor has impeccable capacity and impeccable capital, but if their character is questionable, sureties would not be willing to bond them at all, which stresses the fact that all 3 categories are equally important. Let us look at the first category, capacity. Like I said earlier, capacity refers to ability of the contractor to perform the project smoothly. What are the qualities of a contractor that could lead the contractor towards completing the project successfully? Contractors' experience and skill, whether they have enough skilled people in the team, whether they have good management strategies, whether they have enough equipment and tools required to complete the project, whether they have good management team, organization, good IT team, good tech skills, good business plan, right? So these are the things, these are the several things that sureties would look at in a contractor in this category. Let's look at the second category, capital. Although I said all three categories are equally important, I realized that during the interviews, most of the participants have stressed more on this particular category, capital, the financial strength of the contractor. I still remember one of the participants said, before we assess a contractor, the first thing that we would do is we would look at the financial strength of the contractor. If we are not satisfied with the financial health of the contractor, it is not worth of our time to assess the other two categories. This tells us how important it is in the surety assessment financial health is. So we've identified around 25 different criterion in this category. They are amount of working capital. Sureties want to make sure the contractors have enough working capital. Backlog levels, sureties want to make sure contractors have enough work for the next few years. Sureties want to make sure contractors are making enough money, good amount of money consistently in the past few years. Contractors also specifically focused on account receivables not exceeding 90 days. If the contractor has account receivables exceeding 90 days, sureties would consider that as a loss, which is a negative point in the surety assessment. Sureties want to make sure the contractor has good cash flow and liquidity. Sureties want to make sure contractor has a good relationship with the banks and good operating line of credit from the banks. They also want to make sure the contractors has a good track record of profitability. They also want to make sure contractors personal financial situation is also good, because if something goes wrong with the project, they want to make sure that they can get that back from the contractor at a later stage because of his strong financial situation. Likewise, there are several things in that capital category that sureties would look at, and they're all here on the slide. Going to the next category, character. Character is a very big part of the sureties assessment. Many sureties always put character first. Like I said earlier, good capital, good capacity, but a bad character, you will not get the bond. So it is very important to make sure your character is good. There are several things that the sureties assess in this category. They want to make sure the contractor has good reputation in the business community. They want to make sure the contractor has a good history of performing quality work, good safety history, no history of bankruptcies, good relationship with bonding companies, good relationship with allied partners such as attorneys, subcontractors, all of them. They also want to make sure the contractor is very faithful in paying subcontractors and all the suppliers on time. I remember one participant said they also look at the contractor's personal life, because he said if the contractor's personal life is not clean, it would affect the performance of his business, which we do not want to happen. So they also look at aspects like this. This is one of the major and important factors, important criterion that the surety companies would look at. We also focused on one more thing, the surety assessment concerns. What are the concerns that sureties would look at? They said that they do not want to see any surprises, which means they want the contractor to maintain good communication with the surety company. They don't want to see account receivables over 90 days, because one of the participants said, if you're not collecting money over 90 days, it means to me that you're lazy, and I don't want to give bonding to lazy people. So likewise, there are several more here that you can see. Conclusion. We've identified around 49 crucial factors that would help the contractors to understand surety bonding criterion. Limitations of this study include small sample size and exclusion of CPAs and contractors, but the good thing is in our future research we are doing that. We strongly believe that this research would help contractors to attain enough bonding capacities for their future. Thank you. Because of time constraints, I couldn't talk about everything. Please refer our paper and email me with any questions you have. Thank